So, another day, another SUV looking car with a name that you probably don't understand. Well, we're gonna fix that. How does a Geordie in a hurry like their coffee? Tiggo! So... absolutely everything about this car has to be viewed through the lens of this number. Because a car this big and with this much stuff at that price, that sort of warps your sense of what's good and bad. Thankfully, it's not that this is a bad car, it's not a bad car. In fact, there's lots about it that's quite good. Like some of these bits would not look out of place in a Mercedes-Benz. What? They'd look right at home in a Mercedes, in fact. Cue music. Yeah, oh well. I mean, it's not all Mercedes bits or Mercedes type bits. There's this bit in the middle, it's like a Nissan too. Oh well. Anyway, let's make like Craig David and
somebody say just me.
You might be familiar with Chery without knowing it, because Chery is the Chinese mega corporation that makes the Jaecoo and Omoda cars that you will no doubt be familiar with by now. Or if not familiar, you'll definitely have seen them around. They're very popular. Now, there's nothing unusual about a big company having multiple brands that do similar things. Volkswagen's been doing that for decades. But for now at least, the Chery brand appears to be doing exactly what both Omoda and Jaecoo already do. Cheap SUVs for all! So the Tiggo 7 here has a starting price less than a 3-door Mini, and Chery's other car, the Tiggo 8, is even bigger, has 7 seats, and its starting price is the same as a basic Volkswagen Golf. Although do you not reckon that it would have made more sense for them to call that one the Tiggo 7, right? And this one the Tiggo 5, or just not Tiggo, because it's stupid. Things are nice and simple when it comes to choice though. To drive the wheels, you can pick either a plain petrol engine or a plug-in hybrid, and then there are 2 trim levels, Aspire or Summit. That's not me saying Aspire or something in Geordie, like Aspire or Summit.
Sometimes it's difficult to understand the Geordie people.
That's like 2 trim levels, Aspire and Summit. You know, Summit being Summit to aspire to. Sorry. I made myself laugh anyway. On paper, this all looks very decent. So the basic one has a fairly ordinary petrol engine, although it somehow is capable of offering supercar-like performance for fuel economy. Yeah, so this is a big lump of car in it. It's not very fuel efficient. Thankfully, there's a plug-in hybrid too, which will fare much better, especially if you can keep it charged up at home and make the most of the battery pack. But really, more than anything else, it's actually all the stuff that you get with this car that's most likely to convince you to get one. Well, the stuff you get at the Summit, anyway. Here's a basic car, right? It's quite basic, yeah? There is enough stuff in it. You get like climate control and alloy wheels and twin screens, but the upper car does feel really well spec'd. See? Summit. And again, consider the price. This is a car that absolutely cannot cost more than £34,000. And look at the lease rates, man. Now I know what you're thinking. They're the headline rates, yeah? But even with a longer contract, bigger miles and a lower deposit, it's still peanuts for a plug-in hybrid with this much stuff. Peanuts! But you will note that I'm absolutely hammering home the whole cost and equipment thing. And that's because a cutting-edge family wagon, this ain't. I don't think there's anything in this car that will properly put somebody off, but the fact is that it feels a league below something like a Qashqai or a Peugeot 3008 or a Volkswagen Tiguan or a Skoda Karoq, any number of cars. But mostly this is like nuanced stuff. It's the sort of stuff that would not bother the vast majority of people one iota, because the cabin actually feels pretty good. In fact, the sense of quality is absolutely superb and is the best thing about this car. Loads of soft touch surfaces, and this carbon fiber style trim looks really lovely, and the interior lighting is really nice as well, and the twin screens feel high end. The drive selector is hefty and has weight to it, as do the indicator stalks, and you'll be convinced that you're sitting on real leather seats. You're not, obviously. This thing kind of feels like they've taken an old taxi with like 150,000 miles in the chassis and then completely refurbished the interior. This is a nice thing to sit in for sure, but it is far from a dynamic thing to drive. But then the thing is, are you bothered? Probably not. Because I honestly think that there are loads of people that will really appreciate this car and what it does. Like all the space that it has and how broadly comfortable it is, and all at this price. Because it's basically really comfortable, which means it's basically really nice to drive. Not nice in the way that like a proper luxury car is, or like a really expensive big SUV, but just decent. And that's because it is soft. Fundamentally soft. Soft like when a VAR check gives a handball penalty against your team.
Check complete. Okay. Ben, everybody out.
So like the body rolls a lot when you turn this thing, and it pitches a lot when you press that pedal down there. The brake, I mean. And if you hit an especially substantial pothole, the body kind of bounces for quite a lot after you've hit it. It takes a while to settle down. It's just really like roly-poly and just a bit uncouth. Rod Stewart sings songs about this sort of movement. There's absolutely zero steering feel, but like you probably expected that. The thing is, that means the steering is dead light, which means that it's just easy, and that's a quality that day to day is brilliant. So all of this, these general characteristics, make the fact that this car has driving modes that you can ironically get straight to using a big dial. It will scream at you what mode you're in as well, as you just heard.
Eco mode.
There you go. It makes the fact that you can adjust the modes in this car especially ludicrous, and I can't actually quite figure out what difference these modes make. So you go into normal mode, put your foot down, and you just get very little throttle response because this is not a quick car. You put it in sport mode.
Sport mode.
Loud noises! I genuinely can't fathom what difference these modes are making. This knob here that takes you straight to the modes would have been much better utilised as anything else. Turning the aircon up, temperature, fan speed, or just another volume dial that's a bit bigger. Anyways, all that said, at the kind of speeds that you will normally do and doing the kind of driving that you will normally do, as in doing like 20 to 30 around the doors or 70 on a motorway, this thing is absolutely fine. So I'm sat between those speeds now, 50, and it's great. It's fairly quiet, there's a little bit of road noise, a little bit of wind noise, nothing too out of the ordinary. It's nice and settled, it's nice and comfy. The driving position is really high so you can see everything. By everything, I just mean you've got a nice view of the road. It's just canny. Or in the words of Forrest Gump,
just fine and dandy.
For me, all in all, this is a slightly better car than the Jaecoo 7, aka the Chinese Range Rover. You're test driving both cars together, it will basically be a case of whose cabin you like the best, that or which is the cheapest. But you know, they have the same tendency to bounce, the same tendency to bong at you all the time, even though I'm about to say something that contradicts that in a minute. The same sort of lurching characteristic to the throttle, where it feels like it's half a second behind what you're actually doing with it. But, and I'm gonna go back to my script now, this car doesn't bong at you anywhere near as much as the Jaecoo does. I swear to you, in normal driving it doesn't, but I guess it's because I'm like looking at a camera that it's all befuddled. This sensor keeps tracking that I'm looking at a camera and not at the road ahead and bonging at me, but it genuinely doesn't bong as much as the Jaecoo did. I like the Jaecoo, I do, but not that. I like the Jaecoo. In this particular I don't know why it is that Chery has made this car a little bit more nonchalant about what your eyes are doing than the Jaecoo 7 is, but I like it. I like this car's safety about as much as Euro NCAP did. 4 stars out of 5. Mainly because of an issue with one of the side airbags during the crash test, although Chery will surely sort that out. Now it is a good job that the bonging system isn't as bongy as the Jaecoo's, because this infotainment system, not the best. It is the sort of system that you have to look down at quite a lot. It's fine in the way that most of these systems are fine because, you know, you just learn them. And people don't tend to change these things much anyway, right? You have like a radio station that you listen to most of the time, and a temperature that you enjoy most of the time. Having said that, it just doesn't use its screen space very well. A lot of these systems are like that, especially in the Chinese cars. It's double interesting, sort of, that this car doesn't have physical shortcut buttons for things like nav and radio, because in a world first, I believe, what this car does actually have is indicator volume buttons. Yay! Yep, genuinely, that is what these buttons do, and they are capable of making the indicators ridiculously loud. Yeah, check this out. Who needs their indicators to be that loud? Look, you can turn them right down as well. And they're weird sounding indicators too. Kind of like what Tomorrow's World might have thought indicators were going to sound like in 2025 from back in the 80s. Beep, boop, beep, boop. I like them. It is quite funny and a little bit ironic that having pared back the automatic distraction warnings, they've then given you a method to do your own head in. Hey, if you want to irritate yourself, just turn the indicators up really loud. But believe it or not, that is not the most baffling feature of the Chery Tiggo 7. No, the most baffling feature is this thing. Yeah. And this isn't like in the glove box or hidden underneath the boot floor. It's here, see? Rendering what would be a usefully large flat surface less flat and less useful. And all so that you can, I don't know, test your reflexes or something? Just kidding. I know what it is, obviously. It's a toffee hammer. Seriously though, it's a risky game, isn't it? When you've got a car that bongs at you this much and then you've got this at arm's reach at all times. Yeah, could cost a lot of money, that. Right, enough tomfoolery. Very, mainly because it's a big box. So here's me, 6'4", sitting behind my driving position. And the boot is a decent size too, comparing favourably in litre terms to the rear holes of similar cars of a similar size. And the back seats fold flat. Bonus! Even the interior storage is decent. The glove box, the door pockets and the centre console storage are all substantial-ish. Everything's great, apart from the whole glass hammer weirdness bit. Mind, if you live near a big lake with a road perilously close to it, it's got like a big drop down the side or something, then, you know, this is the car for you, I reckon. If you like your SUVs cheap, Chinese and with less Mercedes-Benz and Nissan about them, but a bit more Range Rover, then the Jaecoo 7 is for you. Like the Tiggo, it is basically spacious and comfy and well made, ostensibly. A league above the Tiggo 7 in refinement terms and probably actual build quality terms too, and the engines are more efficient and there's loads more choice. But if you get a Qashqai these days, you'll never be able to pick yours out in a car park. Very similar to the Tiggo 7 in terms of space offered for the cost, but the Bigster doesn't feel as plush inside and it isn't as well equipped. And actually, the Dacia does kind of shine a light on the real appeal of this thing, because where the Dacia really does feel like a budget car from this seat, the Chery here doesn't. And especially in top spec, it really does feel proper fancy. You know, like you put your indicators on, and assuming you haven't got them on really loud, and then you turn and you're looking at a lovely like 3D animation of the car that helps you not to curb your alloy wheels. It's really cool. It's impressive. So, in conclusion, this is a car that is very easy to recommend, even though it's tangibly not as good as a lot of other cars that are kind of roughly the same size and shape, albeit most of them are a bit more expensive than this. Funnily enough, that's exactly what I think about the Jaecoo 7 too. It's just a very crowded market, this, so it was never going to be right at the top, but like it's good that it's offered what it's offered, which is loads of space and lots of equipment for a really good price, and while being really good at feeling ostensibly fancy and presenting lots of opportunity for hilarious Geordie-based jokes. Well, 2 Geordie-based jokes, but it's more than most cars, right? So there you go, we'll end it there. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you'd like to lease one of these or anything, do it at Leasing Options. Great prices, brilliant customer service, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye! You're doing great.